off the bench last week against Widnes. He replaces Tolima Tautai, who begins this week on the sidelines. There's no Mossop or Patrick, they're both injured, so youngsters Sam Powell and Ryan Sutton return. So the black and white supporters, they know their team are safe for next year, and in a fortnight's time the Super 8 campaign will begin. Wigan will join Leeds on 31 points at the top of the table tonight, but they won't go top. Wigan's points difference is 140, Leeds is 267. But ahead of the Super 8s, they'll be hot on the heels of the Rhinos with 7 games to come, starting Thursday, August the 6th. Exactly 2 weeks tonight. And so Wigan, they've won their last 5 away meetings with Hull. Their last defeat here, February 2009, so that's over 6 years ago. And Hull, the win last week against Rovers came at that huge cost. Can they cope without their skipper Gareth Ellis and their standoff Leon Price? Only 6 points off the top 4, 14 points up for grabs in the next phase. Currently on a run of 3 straight wins as well, the black and whites. Should be interesting, this. Should be very interesting.
Yes, and let's not forget that in the Super 8s, your league table points carry over. So that's why it's so important that Lee Ratford and the Hull FC side realised that those 2 league points could send them on their way, Eddie. It's an outside bet, but they could make it to the top 4. And of course, only the top 4 will be able to get to the grand final this year. So none of the clubs will be hanging back. They know those 2 valuable points can mean so much to them. Wigan, of course, and what a great boost when this man leads them out. Sean O'Loughlin, they are a far better outfit when he leads them out, and he plays a full game. But I'm going to be interested in the clash between Jordan Abdul, who did a fine job when Liam Price had to leave the field last week at Hull Kingston Rovers, and his battle with the youngster George Williams should be outstanding. But it's up front, Crosby, McAlor and Flower against Mickey Pear. What a great return for him. Danny Houghton and Liam Watts. That's where the fireworks will come.
The 2 sides waiting in the tunnel, waiting to take their place centre stage here at the KC Stadium. And every time you hear the pairing of Hull against Wigan, my mind always goes back to the 1985 Cup final. What a match that was at Wembley that Wigan won. Brett Kenny for Wigan, Peter Sterling for Hull. Probably the best final in living memory for many people. And let's hope, Phil Clark, we might get more of the same here tonight.
We're bringing it more up to date, you know. Wigan had a home record this season that meant they were unbeaten. The team that pushed them closest at the DW Stadium are the ones that they face tonight. Back earlier this season in round 5, Hull lost there narrowly 13 points to 12. And I would have thought that the Hull side here, who haven't really performed to full potential this year, have to go back to that game and think, listen, we're good enough to compete with, and we're good enough now to beat the Wigan side, particularly here on our own side, on soil with our home supporters behind them. On paper, the pack that Hull have got lined up here tonight is good enough to beat anybody. We have to question their ability to score enough points to win this game. But they have to start with the foundations in the middle, and we'll see whether they do that here right from the kickoff.
Big night for that man, Richard Whiting. Ben Flower back, and of course well and truly established in the Wigan side once again. Danny Houghton and his battle with Mickey McAlorum will be massive. And Tom Lynham, Warrington bound, just 1 try behind Joe Burgess at the top of the try-scoring charts. There is talent galore out there, and we're about to get this game underway, courtesy of the left boot of Mark Sneed. Here we go. The last round of the first phase. George Williams underneath it. Here comes Dom Crosby with the first run. And it's a great chase by Hull from that kickoff. He's brought down 12 metres away from his own line. Liam Farrell now will take the second tackle here in the opening 15 seconds of this match. Liam Watts in there very, very quickly to bring him down. Now the ball is with Sean O'Loughlin, the Wigan skipper. So much expected of him, always is, when O'Loughlin takes to the field. Flower will drive it in again.
That's pretty good defence as well from the black and whites. They realise they've got to keep very, very good look over to this fella, the hooker, Michael McAlorum. His runs from dummy half can be very, very vital for the Wigan outfit. And the kicking game, of course, it's been a little bit off song and not the best there by Matty Smith.
No, straight into the arms of Tom Lynham. He made the dream team in 2013, did Lynham. He got 2 tries last week in the vital win against Hull KR.
Well, we look at the three-quarter lines from both sides, and there's so much talent, as you've already mentioned, Eddie. But it's whether the forwards can lay that platform. You've got to give them plenty of space. And both Wigan and Hull FC, they really are strong in and around the play the ball area. There you can see they're forcing Hull FC into just 1 out at the moment.
3 tackles gone. They're just inside the Wigan half. McAlorum spreads it wide to Abdul. That's a good ball from him to Whiting. And a good tackle low down by young George Williams, helped out by the 2 big men, Flower and Farrell. Back it comes to Mark Sneed. It goes high off the boot of Sneed. And he's put his hand up for this as Joe Burgess. He takes the high kick and he also takes the tackle from Jordan Rankin.
Yeah, did well. The winger, also Jordan Rankin, made sure that he didn't touch him whilst he was mid-air. Well, that's pretty good defence.
Well, it is good defence, but the referee shouted held. The legs were up in the air, and Mickey Payer and Hull are penalised. You can't keep pushing once the referee shouts held.
But if you offload the ball, then they give it back and say, oh, we'll carry on. So we've got a massive inconsistency that needs to be eradicated from the game for next season.
We do, but you know, they're the laws as they stand at the moment. He kept on pushing after the referee call held, well after the other 2 players had pulled out, so I think Ben Thale had no choice with that.
There's always just a touch of going over the horizontal as well. Either way, Wigan, they won't be complaining.
No, they had the penalty. It get them 20 easy metres upfield, and Ben Flower takes the first tackle of this set. McAlorum in centre field gives the ball then to Crosby again, but they fly out of the defence very quickly. Hull in the shape of Mickey Payer. McAlorum waits at dummy half. Here it is now with Matty Smith. And Joel Tompkins trying to barge his way through 3 defenders. Just over the halfway line again, on the 3rd tackle. Ball in centre field now with Smith. He finds O'Loughlin. There is Williams. Long floating pass out to the top try scorer in Super League. Joe Burgess taking on Tom Lynham. Great ball back inside as well to Williams. Good tackling though by Richard Whiting.
Tremendous work by Burgess, the winger, and good support play by George Williams. They're stretching out, missing men out.
They are. They've moved it from left to right, and this is Bateman, and that was a forward pass.
Well,
Bateman touches down, but he will bring it back, the referee, for the forward pass.
Well, the idea was fantastic. I'm afraid the pass was deemed to be forward. You can see Bateman just had to lean slightly forward there. But this is great work. Wonderful stuff by Burgess. To think the first 3 or 4 games that Burgess had for Wigan this season, he was all over the shop. He bounced back with venom.
The tackle made by that man, putting his head into the scrum, Richard Whiting, on George Williams. In the previous attacking set, he's playing out in that right edge, 2nd row, where Gareth Ellis would usually be. Of course, Ellis sadly missing now for about 6 months with an Achilles injury, a severe Achilles injury. Big job for Richard Whiting. We saw him take a short ball off Jordan Abdul. He will be the strike player out on that right side to balance up Mark Minicello on the left-hand side. He's got a big role to play, but he's well capable of doing it.
Well, we've talked all night about the absentees for Hull this evening. They have got no Gareth Ellis. They have no Leon Price. Here's a chance for them here with Mark Minicello, who most certainly is out there. They are also missing Kirk Eamon, Setimat Assar, the Wigan, ex-Wigan prop, Feka Paliasina as well. Houghton running laterally. Gets the ball away to Mickey Payer, who has timed his return back from suspension perfectly with those injuries.
Well, Danny Houghton, he was looking for the penalty, and quite frankly, he should have got it. He pinpointed one of the Wigan players that had not gone back to 10. And now they've coughed up possession. That really should have been a penalty.
Well, Sneed tried to get the ball away and got it to nobody in particular, and Joel Tompkins was first to drop on it. Bowen gets it away to Anthony Gelling. That's a beautiful ball round the corner. Here is Joe Burgess. He's trying to take them on, and he's taken them on. He's skinned them as Burgess, and he gets try 21 of the season for Joe Burgess. He gives Wigan the lead, but you have to put it down to a wonderful pass from Anthony Gelling, who got the ball out wide to Burgess. Brilliant play from the centre, speed from the winger, and in the end he just turned the defender inside out.
And huge problems for Talanoa and Tom Lynham. Too easy for Gelling on that occasion, Eddie. Drew Tom Lynham in, flicked the ball around the corner and found that man, Joe Burgess. Have a look at Matty Bowen. He sees the threat out here, but this is too easy. This should be solved. Tom Lynham has no business coming in to help Talanoa. Talanoa can deal with Gelling on his own. And of course, once they release this man, he can shut the gates. He's going to go under the H's and score. But just get another look at it. Gelling running out, try and draw Tom Lynham in, but the tackle is okay. Talanoa can do it. Lynham's got to shut the ball down if he decides to come in. Phil mentioned the battle between these two before the game. First blood to Joe Burgess.
Yeah, pretty impressive as well, Anthony Gelling. As Brian has already mentioned, if you're sucking the winger away, it leaves a huge gap. Such a talent, isn't he, Anthony Gelling?
Matty Smith from bang in front will give Wigan a 6-point advantage in the opening 6.5 minutes here.
And you've got to admire the way that Wigan quite happy. Deep in their own quarter, you can see the fullback Matty Bowen. And they just pulled in and they just waited away Talanoa. And once this kid gets away, look at the step here, in and out. That is perfect play. What a wonderful opening.
Well, Joe Burgess, 21 tries for the campaign now. Super League's top try scorer. He's now 2 ahead of Tom Lynham. 54 tries for Wigan now. 54 appearances for Wigan now. 49 tries for the club. And, well, he's going to be a miss when he leaves Wigan for the NRL at the end of this season. But knowing Wigan, they will paper over the crack. They have done that so many times and so successfully recently.
Well, he's got a chance to go on to become a world-class winger as Wigan again look to break down the left-hand side. He's joining the Roosters. He'll play under a great coach in Trent Robinson. I'm sure he'll bring his game on and he'll come back to play over here or even represent us internationally at the highest level.
So great start for Wigan here. 7 minutes gone. They lead by 6 points to 0 with Matty Smith, who gets it away to Joel Tompkins, and of course Sam Tompkins will return for the start of 2016 for the Wigan Warriors. And O'Loughlin gets it away to Flower. It was forward though from the Wigan skipper. Big roar from the crowd, and the blast on the referee's whistle confirms that, and it was.
Yeah, it slipped out of the hands of the skipper. O'Loughlin knew it. Flower tried to hide it, but he couldn't get away with it. Lee Ratford will be a little bit disappointed with the defence from the Black and Whites on that occasion. Already mentioned the ability of Anthony Gelling, but he knows that it should have been a man-on-man situation. It wasn't.
5th round of the competition this year, the 13th of March. They were 12-0 up at half-time, and it was only Matty Smith's drop goal a quarter of an hour from the end that eventually settled the issue, and nobody has taken Wigan that close in their unblemished home record this year. They have found away wins tough to come by, though. This is Rankin trying to dodge his way through a couple of defenders and does it with some gusto as well. Brought down by Bowen, will get to his feet and play it to Houghton. Took a bang there, did Rankin. This is Sneed, short ball to Minicello, but he's surrounded by black Wigan jerseys. Down he goes.
Good work by John Bateman there. He wasn't going to be fooled.
It's with Sneed again, and he finds Westerman, who pops the ball up here to Liam Watts, and that's a nice ball out the back, picked up by Westerman again. Westerman to the corner, that's too strong.
Yeah, sadly. A good build-up as well. Loose forward Joe Westerman. So much talent. Took a huge gamble, put the kick on, but I'm afraid it was far too strong. Well, it'll lift the spirits. At least they found a little bit of a gap in that Wigan defence.
So, Gelling gets the ball away brilliantly again, and it finds its way to Liam Farrell. Plays the ball to McIlorum. With Williams, now O'Loughlin. That's a better pass to Matty Smith. Trying to take on Minicello and Westerman, but fails. Gets to his feet, plays it to Bowen. Here is Flower. And Flower will play it now to McIlorum, and he will kick early as well. That was only the 3rd tackle they just completed there, but it will go dead.
Well, it's not a bad tactic. It saves a lot of energy for especially your forwards. And as you go early on the 3rd, you really wanted it to just stand up in the in-goal area. just a touch too strong.
Steve Michaels plays it there to Danny Houghton. Here comes Liam Watts again. Liam Watts in his 4th season at the Black and Whites.
Probably been his best, Eddie. I know Barry McDermott and Terry O'Connor were talking about him as a potential international prop by the time we get to the end of the season. He's been good. But if you're going to be an international, he needs to play well tonight at this level against a Wigan forward pack.
Oof. And Mark Sneed will not want to see that again. Just a fumble in centre field.
Yeah, you see, he just took his eyes off the ball at the vital moment. You could see that Matty Smith was zoning in. Also, the second rower, Joel Tompkins. Disappointment etched on the face. He knew they were in a good position.
Not quite hit the straps of last year, Mark Sneed, has he, when he was startling in a fantastic Castleford season. He's been a little bit off the boil by his own high standards. £100,000 this club paid Salford for him on a 3-year deal.
Yeah, he has been troubled with a few niggling injuries, but I'm afraid at this point in the moment in this season, Eddie, you get quite a few of those. You've got to try to play to your ultimate, even if you're only 75%. He's away again, is Gelling. It's not the best pass, got away with it.
It was well picked up off his toes by Josh Charnley. And it's Sneed who got to him first and is anxious, of course, that Wigan don't score at the end of this set, because it was his mistake that gifted them possession. With Matty Smith, back it comes to Williams. That looked forward as well to Farrell. Did from up here anyway, but the touch judges and the referee have viewed it differently.
I think it was a flat pass, Eddie. It's something that the Wigan outfit do most of the time. Be interesting to see how this guy goes, George Williams. Take the defence on a little bit more tonight.
Bowen slides a lovely kick in, and that's great defence actually on that far side by Lynham.
Exactly the defence John Wells referenced Eddie pre-game. Willingness to put your body on the line, read the play. This occasion it was a Bowen kick, and Tom Lynham dragging the ball back was deemed to have knocked it on, but there may have been a knock-on indeed from Joe Burgess if we have a close look.
It's the Wigan player that's had the knock-on against him. It'll be Hull head and feed. Deemed that as a knock-on from the side.
Yeah, Ben Thaler has got it spot on. It's the Black and Whites, head and feed. But it was a good little option, Matty Bowen. Nice little kick through, apply the pressure. It's not going to be easy for Hull to get anywhere near the halfway line to get a good kick and chase in.
Eddie, it's easier to defend if the spaces between the defenders are quite small. Look, you've got 3 guys there attacking one of the Hull players. When Wigan have had the ball, they've passed it successfully across the full width of the pitch, which has spread the gaps between Hull's defenders and I think caused them problems. If you run straight at Hull, they'll hold you. They're very good tacklers. They'll commit to it. Making decisions in defence is another challenge, and one obviously very hard as the gaps get wider and players start to run and change their line of angle.
Payer will pick himself up off the ground and play it to Danny Houghton. And the kick from Mark Sneed is inside the 40, so he's gone for a 40-20 there. He didn't quite get the angle right, so Bowen is able to pick it up and run it back. And he gets it only so far as Jack Logan and company.
Yeah, it's a good kick and chase, but again, the home side has to be extremely wary because Wigan, they like to get it out wide at any opportunity. Good defence by Whiting, had to be as well. Williams wanting to throw the dummy, couldn't get away with it. See the offload, they're always eager to keep it alive.
This is Ben Flower, turns it back to Matty Smith. He finds Joel Tompkins. Out the back of the hand it goes to Bateman. Bateman is dealt with by 4 Black and White defenders. And he'll play it there to McIlorum. Now it's with Matty Smith. O'Loughlin and Williams, and then a flat pass to Liam Farrell.
Well, they've done well to recover there because there were 8 Wigan attackers and only 5 defenders for the home side. They just about managed to hold them out, but they've got to hold out Anthony Gelling now. Keeps it alive one more time.
Gets the ball away to Williams, who'll attack the line. He gets through the first one. He's going for it himself as Williams couldn't get the ball away, but they've reached the last tackle. They're underneath the sticks. There's an important defensive tackle coming in there, and the kick out wide from Matty Smith to Charnley, pound back, and Bateman will touch it down. That's a tremendous Wigan try if it is given by Richard Silverwood and Tom Crashley, who are tonight's video referees. They have a try on the field. They just want to check that the ball went back on the palm down And I suppose also, Stuart, they would be looking for onside, offside as well.
Well, they'll look for that because it's automatic. It's from a kick, and they're clearly onside there. I think the issue is, does he ground the ball correctly? There's nothing wrong with the flick back. That clearly goes backwards. Just a question mark on the grounding, which is not a problem. That'll be a try to Wigan.
Yeah, great work by the halfback, Matty Smith, and also the winger, Josh Charnley. But you can see quite clearly when Bateman puts the ball down, this will be confirmation it is. You see quite clearly that when Bateman gets to it, there is hardly any Hull FC defender. That was quick thinking by Matty Smith. They were all moved up, and when he gets the kick away, this was good work here by George Williams. I like it when this youngster takes on the defence. Didn't panic, play the ball, watch Smith. They've all moved out of the line. 2-on-1, it's a gift. Good play.
When these last teams met, and we've said there was only 1 point separating them, the gap between these two teams tonight is massive at the moment after 15 minutes. It's clearly a team from the top 4 against one that's just about scraped into the top 8. And Hull need to radically improve if they want to be competitive now for the next hour.
Matty Smith then with the opportunity to add his second goal of the night. He converts the John Bateman try, so it's Wigan who are into a 12-0 lead, and we've reached the 16th minute.
With all the talk of Joe Burgess, you sometimes forget about Josh Charnley. I want to talk about his contribution here. That's in the in-goal area. How often would you see a winger do that? More or less, they take the ball, take it downfield, knowing that they can't be tackled in the air, but he had the presence of mind to bat the ball back. Now John Bateman scored the try. It's been a tough season for Josh Charnley, but that'll do his confidence the world of good. And speaking of confidence, picking up on Phil's point, this is a Wigan side playing with confidence. Hull FC are very stretched at the moment and sense more tries coming.
Yes, maybe they'll have the on-board caterer a few more times this year, because they've certainly arrived here relaxed. They're playing really well. And of course, neither of these two sides have any distractions from the Challenge Cup semi-final next weekend, so they get a full weekend's breather. Then they'll hit the Super 8s the week after, and they will know who they will play when the Super 8 competition, the Middle 8s, are launched on Wednesday by the Rugby Football League.
It's all
we know
about
the format, Steve-O, but we don't know dates and times and days yet.
No. Well, that's a knock-on. I think they got away with the first one, but George Williams just got the fingertips to it, couldn't take it on. Nice offload by O'Loughlin. That was okay, and then Williams just lost control of it.
You don't get that many chances to win a game of rugby league. This might be the chance that Hull need. 12-0 behind, you see Dominic Crosby, it bounces off his feet, but the pass isn't good enough for George Williams. This is a chance here. Hull at 12-0 behind are still competitive, or they are on the scoreboard. They haven't been out on the field. It's a chance by Wigan, turn over possession on the halfway line. We need to see them here now improve both their attack and the defence.
Well, the biggest problem for the black and whites is that they haven't been down in the danger zone of this Wigan outfit, and the kicking game hasn't been too good. That's good offload there by Westerman.
Here comes Whiting, just lays the pass off to Talanoa, but look at this tigerish Wigan defence. Lynham, infield it comes again, and here is Joe Westerman once more, taking them on.
Far too much one out there by Hull FC. Different for Wigan. They're utilising the dummy runners to great effect.
They get another penalty here because Dom Crosby hadn't cleared the ruck, and the ball went straight into his back. Could have been penalised there. He's penalised there because he's still lying in the path of the ball from the ball. So a Hull penalty, and penalty try, we say, don't we?
Well, we normally do, Eddie, and then boy, do they need it. Realise that it's going to be a tough uphill battle, I'm afraid.
Bowden will try and plough the ground up, but he's forced back. He was on the 10-metre line, he's pushed back 2 metres. Houghton looking to inject a bit of pace into this Hull side, and there is Rankin. It comes wide. This is Steve Michaels. Good work by Michaels, and good work also by Charnley. Well, his head was forced over the line shortly after the tackle was given. It was completed, and the referee agrees.
Yeah, he's given the penalty.
Well, the tackle's complete, so they've got to get up, and he's pushed his head down onto the whitewash, so that is quite clearly a penalty.
Well, they'll be disappointed if they don't score from this.
Well, it's the second penalty in quick succession. They start this 10 metres out with Liam Watts again.
Well, at least the Utes on that other attack, when they picked up that penalty, they did utilise the dummy runners. They need to be a little bit more confident.
Houghton comes down this way. Gets the ball away to Minicello. But Tompkins and O'Loughlin deal with the threat. Houghton gets into Sneed's arms. He finds Abdul. Great ball. Whiting, they're in. The Black and Whites have fought back. 2 penalties in quick succession, and at the end of it, the try. And Richard Whiting, well, he's the man to fill the void left by Gareth Ellis. Over 250 appearances now for the Black and Whites. And he got a try from the second row against Castleford. He's got a try from the second row against Wigan.
Well, this was a silly penalty. Tackle had been cut, and you see Smith just force the head down. And from this, it's a beautiful little short pass by Jordan Abdul. This is extremely good. Good positioning by Whiting. And they put themselves back in. The first real opportunity to apply the pressure. But watch this little soft pass and the angle run from Whiting. Boy, Hull needed that. The game needed it. And the fans, they enjoyed it too.
Nice soft hands from Jordan Abdul and a good run from Whiting. So they're on the board, and they're going to be just 6 behind here, surely, when Sneed converts this from bang in front of the sticks.
Well, Eddie, when you're defending your line, numbering up correctly becomes crucially important, and it's usually the job of the fullback to make that decision. After we see Sneed kick this attempted conversion, which I'm sure he'll get, I want you to have a look at Matty Bowen's position in the line. He finds himself on the short side, on the right-hand side, and makes a very limited effort to get across and cover any sort of break or kick that Hull FC might make.
So Mark Sneed, 3 from 4 last week against Hull KR, 1 from 1 so far tonight against the Wigan Warriors.
Well, Matty Bowen is the man just in front of the referee. Just keep an eye on the blue boots. That's a fullback that's meant to be defending his line. And when Richard Whiting goes in and under the post, well, there's nobody looking to lay a glove on him. Matty Bowen just to the right-hand side of the picture. Whiting filling in for Gareth Ellis, as we said, but the numbering by Wigan all wrong. Hull FC exploiting at that occasion.
It's unusual to see a try that, if we were playing touch rugby, it would have still been scored. Nobody got close to him, and I think that's going to give Hull a real boost, particularly Jordan Abdul. To deliver that pass, he's under pressure to find the try scorer. He did it particularly well. They've recharged the batteries, they've filled up the petrol tank. Here they go again.
Yes, here they come again, as you say, with Chris Green, who has yet to start a game this year for the Black and Whites. The try scorer, Richard Whiting. And behind him in the orange boots there, that's Fatuli Talanoa. He has scored tries in all of his 3 previous meetings against Wigan. So they could do with him getting over the whitewash again tonight, as the 12-6 down at the moment with 22 minutes on the clock. But this, Bowden has hurt himself here in this tackle against Tony Clubb, and Clubb knew immediately there was a problem.
All right, it's okay.
I think it may just land awkwardly on the... Oh no, it's dragged back on the leg.
I think he's got a problem with his right ankle.
Yeah, it goes underneath. Oh, that is painful.
Well, that could be ankle, that could be his knee ligaments as well. He's heavily strapped on that right knee. Tell you what, Eddie, when you had a look at that, we'll see it now, close look here. It's trapped underneath Clubb's body. Clubb attempts to finish off the tackle. It's awkward. When you look at the Gareth Ellis images from last week, you see the effort that they go through, these players, as he's helped from the field. He shakes the head, knew immediately it was no good. And the physio staff and the medical staff at Hull FC will have to be trying to get this man back on the field as soon as possible. And you forget about that sometimes. He's come off the field, and the minute the first question he asks is, when can I go back again?
Well, I don't know whether he'll be asking that, Brian. He looks full on.
I mean, don't mean for today.
No,
but you know, they come back, they wake up in the morning, they go in to get physio, and they look to get back on the field soon.
It's not a snapped Achilles like Gareth Ellis suffered last week, but it's a serious ankle injury. There's no doubt about that. I'm sure Bill is chasing the news and will report back as and when. This, meanwhile, is Matty Bowen.
Yeah, it certainly looks as though it's ankle ligaments, doesn't it? It was a very, very bad twist.
Last thing that Lee Radford needs, to be fair.
Yeah, well, when you think of the fact that, you know, first Price and then Ellis, not the best through injuries. Well, they know that they are safe. They will be in the Super 8s. But if the injuries continue, boy, it's a difficult time for Lee Radford.
Tautai with a solid run down the middle. All the teams in the middle 8 certainly, and 1 or 2 in the Super 8s. Warrington, for instance, bringing in late season replacements. They're all tooling up, ready for what's to come in the second phase of the competition. Vital stages coming up, particularly for the bottom 4 in Super League and the top 4 in the Championship. Although Paul Rowley has said he goes with what he has at the Lee Centurions. He's got confidence in his league leaders. That's a nice kick through, that's another hack through, and here is a try for George Williams. Sam Powell, I beg your pardon, he's just on. Sam Powell just on. They're going to check it out. The ball was hacked forward twice.
I think this is a try.
Well, they've got a try on the field.
Yep. And I think Ben Taylor's got it absolutely spot on. Well, it was a good little kick through by Matthew Bowen. It looks as though they're onside, Stuart.
Just inside, we've got a Wigan player there who's looks
Sam
like
Powell.
he's just in front. Sam Powell. Does
And
he have any involvement in the play? No, he doesn't. He's played back on them when he's played at. So therefore, that should be okay.
You don't think he was within 10 metres radius of the ball?
He only has to be within 10 metres if there's a player waiting for the ball. And as it was kicked into space, there's no Hull FC player there waiting for the ball. So therefore, that's okay. He's now played onside because he's behind him, and that'll be a try.
Well, he certainly made up for it, didn't he, the fullback Matty Bowen. He was all at sea when Whiting went over for the try. This will be confirmation, surely it is.
Well, the Hull supporters disagree, but we had it graphically described by Stuart Cummings as to why the try for Sam Powell would be given, and it was. And Danny Houghton is receiving the reason now.
His own man picks up possession, who's onside and passes the ball to him. No, that's play on, and that's why it's a try. He's got it right, correct.
Well, we have agreement all round with the referees and ex-referees.
How do you define a player waiting for the ball? Isn't the winger or fullback? Couldn't you always say they are waiting for the ball?
Well, it's basically when the ball's kicked into space. There's nobody there. There's 3 players converging for the ball. If they're there waiting to catch a high ball, that will be classed as waiting for it. There's nobody there. It's kicked into space, so it's basically play on. And as soon as the ball's touched again the second time, he's played onside.
And good work yet again from the centre, Anthony Gelling. He realised that the ball was at his feet. Surely Smith will add the extras.
Well, a brief revival for Hull has been cancelled out by the Sam Powell try and the conversion from Matty Smith.
Well, to be fair, you always felt that Wigan, okay, they conceded that 6 points, but they're looking very, very strong indeed. They're eager to keep the ball alive, especially when they attract the defenders, twist, offload. Good thinking by Gelling, got the boot to it, and good support play by Powell.
So Tony Clubb will try and work this ball away from his own line again. 25 minutes gone, and Wigan have re-established their 12-point advantage. Tautai will take it forward now. He almost bounced Danny Houghton off his feet, did Tolima Tautai. He started a prop against Widnes last week. Had a good first season with the Wigan Warriors, missed only 1 game in this his debut season. Powell at dummy half, Smith with a kick deep into the corner, or trying to get there. Jordan Rankin, though, is underneath it for Hull.
Great chase, though. Wasn't the best right down the fullback's throat, but they had the numbers there. Gelling leading the way.
Lynham, a stuttering run really into the chest of Powell, finished off by Tautai and O'Loughlin.
Well, this is a really vital part of the game here now for Hull. They've either got to go hard or go home here, because at 25 minutes, 12 points behind, they have to work harder than their opponents here to get back in, demonstrate more enthusiasm and more willingness to win the ruck area when they're carrying the ball forward. Minicello finding a pass. Can they keep it alive? They're being swamped, aren't they, in defence?
They are, young Jack Logan with nowhere to go.
The most important thing, Eddie, is that the Wigan defenders, there's very, very little more than 2. They normally have 3 all the time. Oh, that's good play. You always have to take a huge gamble, but if you make it, It sits very well. Abdul with a kick downfield. Not a bad one either.
But Charnley's able to pick it up on the first bounce. He brings it back 20, 25 metres before the defenders arrive. Then they come in numbers. Matty Smith waiting at dummy half. Joel Tompkins bounces off young Jack Logan. 4th game in a row in the centres for Logan. Bowen puts it away to Clubb.
That's the difference between the two sides. You can see quite clearly every time Wigan have it, they get over the opponent's halfway line. That applies the pressure.
And Clubb and Chris Green having a disagreement.
Now then, will Jordan Rankin get himself in a good position for the kick? The big fella's out there. Tautai
plays the ball to Powell. Here now is Matty Smith dancing through the black and white defenders. Goes down on the 5th. They're 10 metres away as Bowen floats the kick out wide, looking for Burgess again, and he
beats everybody.
Finds Burgess, but Burgess was over the line.
Far too strong. A little bit of a mix-up there. They found that Matty Smith ran the ball, so therefore he wasn't capable of getting the kick away, so it was left to the fullback, Matty Bowen. Not the best.
Well, here you go, Mike. We can just simply measure, can't we? Can Hull gain as much ground with their efforts? There's 3 men held, holding, pushing back. Houghton goes across the pitch. What, 2 or 3 metre gain? Look, they're doing it hard, having to find magic offloads here to try and crawl slightly downfield and away from their own 20.
Oh, he got that away. Riskily did Sneed, but it was turned into something by Rankin. It bobbled and bounced off a couple of legs. Rankin is tracked all the way by George Williams before he's pulled down. Here goes Talanoa. Puts it in centre field to Westerman.
And they're struggling. Boy, the times that we see three Wigan defenders, sometimes 4. And that's good work there by Danny Houghton.
Talanoa again, gets them over halfway. Slips the pass away to Westerman. He gets it away also then to Jordan Thompson. Comes back inside Powell. Powell hangs on to him. And, well, Abdul, he's not making any progress there with those 3 around him. Down he goes on tackle number 4. And Sneed, shape to kick, then just put the short pass into Minicello, and Wigan hound Mark Minicello to the ground, and then the ball is stolen. Penalty to Hull. Here they go again.
Well, great relief for the home outfit. No doubt about it. It looks as though O'Loughlin had the right arm right across.
So they're now 10 metres away, Hull. This is a glorious opportunity for them to respond once again. It's with Thompson. He finds Abdul. Abdul then to Rankin. Somehow he hangs on to it, Rankin. Slides the kick in. And Gelling to the rescue.
Yeah, good play by the fullback. Rankin realised, looks as though he's going to knock on. Just got to it in time. And it's well read by the centre Anthony Gelling.
Well, he'd have to be a strong candidate for man of the match, Anthony Gelling, the way he's played in the first 30 minutes. What a brilliant impact he's had. Saving tries, scoring tries, setting them up. Been everywhere, hasn't he, there? That kick was a better one. It didn't go over the dead ball line.
Tell you what, Hull FC, they have just limped into the 8. You're right, Eddie, a win here is going to be crucial. I want to reference a player on their side, and if they had more of him, or certainly players with more attitude like him, I think they'd be a lot further up the table, and that's Danny Houghton. No player on the field tonight has made more tackles. We talk about the consistency of James Roby in his performances, and Michael McAlorum. I guess Danny Houghton, I can't remember him having a bad game. Doesn't get the credit he deserves. I think he's absolutely vital for anything that Hull FC do, either in this game or in this season.
Well, you mentioned his tackling. You referenced that as Hull get another penalty here for the flop by young Powell. Danny Houghton is Super League's top tackler this year in 2015, and he's showing the reason why tonight.
Yeah, and I suppose in many ways, you know, Danny Houghton's a little bit unfortunate in regards to we have so many top quality hookers around, but he gives 100%, little doubt about that. But Sean Wayne has to be a little bit worried about this. Lack of discipline, giving away penalties, allowing the home side to get back into this game. 2
penalties on the run again. Last time they got 2 penalties, they were over the line. Well, here is Chris Green again. Gets it to Sneed. He thought about the kick to the corner, gave it instead to Whiting. He finds Talanoa. And Talanoa's going the wrong way, really, going towards the whitewash on that far side. Wigan bring him down in the shape of Farrell. Lynham, looping pass from him, finds Sneed. Sneed attacking the line. Tompkins and O'Loughlin deal with that particular threat. Here's Houghton again.
Abdul wants it, and he's going to get it, is he?
He gets a short pass away to Minicello. It bounces off the chest. It's gone forward. It will be chalked off. This try is chalked off. Logan thought he was over. In fact, he was over, but it came off the chest there. There's the knock on.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the chest, actually. It was probably the hips, the arms or something. Yeah, it's off the hands.
Yeah, left bandy.
I suppose, Stuart, had it gone off the chest, would that have been play on?
It would have been play on. It just came off his right arm and just knocked it forward.
Well, a huge let off yet again. And I mentioned the fact that Sean Wayne, the Wigan coach, should just say, hey, come on, let's have a little bit more discipline. Silly things like a flop after you've done a good stint in defence. Sorry, Eddie, that's pretty good defence as well. It's in and around the ruck, but it really can't compete with the way that Wigan's defenders, 2, 3, sometimes 4 in the tackle. It's good work.
So, Matty Smith, back it comes from him to Bowen. Here is Bateman again. It's a good run from Bateman again. Once more, he takes 2 or 3 players back towards their own line. Got a bang on the back of the head for his pains. Plays it though to Bowen. Smith, O'Loughlin, and here is Williams, and now Farrell, and there's Gelling. And Gelling, he tries to slip the pass to Burgess, which he does, but the referee orders the turnover. Forward pass in that, I think, at some stage.
Well, this shows
that
how
one
confident.
Was.
Yeah, Farrell certainly to Gelling was going forward. You see the figuration of the fingers,
and then a knock on by Gelling.
But it just shows you the confidence. You know, normally you would have been looking for the high kick, right down to either both wingers on either the left or the right. But that confidence is running through their veins, and Wigan quite happy to keep this ball alive. Oh, shocker.
Not the best, that, from Danny Houghton. Sneed. We see Saints and Hull Kingston Rovers, the champions, and Hull KR, the big rivals of Wigan, the big rivals of Hull FC. Tomorrow, Friday night, Super League, 7:30, Sky Sports 3 again. Well, Eddie, champions can go top of the table with a win, and Hull KR, if they get a big enough win at St Helens, and then Catalan put the cleaners through the Leeds Rhinos, it will be Hull Kingston Rovers in the top 8. Am I dreaming? Am I French dreaming here?
Yes.
I tell you what's going to help maybe the dreams of the Hull supporters if they continue to offload and support the man with the ball. It's got them out of their own half. Jordan Abdul now, is that a nice kick? It is. Those offloads, they're not able to compete with Wigan on simply gaining ground when they carry the ball. But if they keep it alive in the tackle, late in the tackle, it certainly helps them to get out of their own half and get to the other end.
Yeah, it's a good place for them to turn possession over, because they've been having possession given to them in almost exactly the same position up the other end of the field for much of the 35 minutes that we've seen so far. 18-6 to Wigan then. We've had the try from Burgess, another from Bateman and one from Powell. Smith's converted all 3, and Whiting briefly in the 19th minute gave Hull the opportunity of a comeback, but that comeback was quickly snuffed out by the Wigan Warriors. 18 points to 6.
But you always get the feeling that the Hull side, if they're going to score, they're going to make sure they're within 10, 15 metres of the Wigan line, whereas if you look at the Warriors, they're quite happy to launch an attack from way downfield. They've got the quality in doing that. We've already mentioned Anthony Gelling and John Bateman doing a fine job in the centres.
Here's Bateman again. Over the halfway line. Powell clapping his hands at dummy half, wants to get on with this. It's the ball in field to Matty Smith. Young Ryan Sutton. He only started 5 this year, but he's highly rated by the Wigan staff.
Will we have the first bomb? Yes.
High off the boot it goes of Matty Smith. Michaels is underneath it, takes it cleanly. Smith completes the tackle with help from Tompkins.
Confident from Michaels. Screamed out it was mine. Took it well. But again, 3 defenders in the Wigan outfit.
Let's get down to Bill for injury news.
Eddie, we saw Josh Bowden coming off a short time ago. He's back in the dugout, and it's an ankle ligament problem as you see him going down there. It's really harsh luck on Josh Bowden. And ironic, because in tonight's match programme there's a feature on him talking about the injury problems he's had to contend with and how he's come back, but he's out for the rest of this game.
And here is Williams, who's going over under the post. A mistake by Hull in centre field. They gifted the possession away. And he gives it straight away, does Ben Thaler, without having to refer this one upstairs. It was a risky pass. Sean Wayne makes his way up the stairs and then down the dancers to the dressing room area.
Not the best.
What a mistake.
Yeah, not the best. When you put the offload, you've got to make sure that someone's sniffing around for it. Fair play to this fella, George Williams. He really should have had the numbers to get to him. He picks it up. Wasn't the best from Westerman, went to nobody. Nothing they could do about it. Jordan Thompson tried. Sneed tried an ankle tap, just caught him. And the youngster, he'll enjoy this. He's had a fabulous season, this guy.
He has. He was only on the bench rather for the first meeting against Hull in March. I think Sam Powell was in the side in his place. That's his 5th try of the season for George Williams. And well, Matty Smith, he hasn't been tested with his goal kicks tonight, has he? Just about all of them from bang in front of the sticks. Here's another. This is going to be 24-6 in a second, and that's exactly what it is. And we're going to coasting here as we approach the half-time siren.
You know what? I might be wrong here, but if we measure the desire, I should say, of the players around the ball when this goes to ground, it seems to me that the guy wearing the Wigan shirt's just got far more than the Hull players. I know he's quick, I know he's a great player, and I admire the way he's done, but I think that's just been far too easy. The Hull players, they were all around the ball when it hit the ground. Only one really made the effort to pick it up and run hard and quickly enough with enough commitment to score. It's a huge disappointment for Lee Radford's side.
Well, he won't be too impressed either with the offload by Westerman. It was to nobody. Whether that's because no one was keen to follow the loose forward. Either way, it's put them in a bigger hole to get out of.
It has, and the huge difference is that in the collision, in the tackle, Wigan are making good ground forward, and that's a nice chip through from Charnley, but didn't quite come off for Charnley by Matty Smith. Didn't quite come off for him. Steve Michaels picks it up.
Well, not a bad option, is it? Especially with 1.5 minutes to go to the half-time break.
And Michael showed desire then to be first to the ball.
Yeah, he was in a good position.
Oh, but here's a knock on now. Well, things are going from bad to worse. Poor old Jack Logan loses the ball on contact with the ground.
I think we're probably going to give Joel Tompkins more credit. When he first made the tackle there, Joel Tompkins made the extra effort to push him back towards his own line, and in doing so the ball came free as it hit the contact to the floor. I think sometimes after players with the man with the ball and the man the defender, and they first hit one another, there's obviously then a battle that goes on for a second or two after that, and by far Wigan have won that battle.
And they were very quick also, Wigan, to get to the scrum to force the referee to call time off. They obviously fancy their chances of getting more reward in the last 30 seconds of this first half. They will get a penalty.
I'd take the 2. It's a bit far out, maybe. Maybe the Smith will say, well, dink it into the corner.
No, he's going to go for the 2 points. And the coach said play on. Well, I think he probably looked at the big screen and saw they've got about 10 seconds remaining, Matty Smith, and thought, well...
Yeah, take the 2 and offer.
Take the 2 if we can. Remember, of course, he kicked the goal in the last seconds of the win against Leeds the other week from about this range, but more or less in centre field. So that was a slightly easier kick. That's the angle he's got here. He obviously fancied his chances.
Yeah, it'll give him a 20-point gap, which will please Sean Wayne, despite the fact that he said roll it on.
So Matty Smith, they've all been in front of the posts. Kicking with confidence though, but he's missed it. Half-time siren has sounded. Wigan will take a 24-6 lead with them into the break. Burgess's try after 5 minutes, improved by Smith 6-0. Bateman's try soon followed. Again, a conversion from Smith 12-0. Then Whiting's try, improved by Sneed 12-6. But then Powell's try, Williams' try, 24 points to 6 at half-time, the Wigan Warriors.
Ladbrokes, proud sponsor.